So next, I would like to talk about musical phrasing, which is very important on developing the technique to the next level so you can actually make musical sense with it. Musical phrasing I'm referring to as half bar, full bar, or 2-bar phrases when you do your fills. This will help with the release of the tension of the music and develop more into other sections. So the first example is just going from 16ths to a quarter. 2 snares, 2 first tom, and the quarter on the second tom. So it'll sound like this. That would be our half bar phrase. Because remember we talked about note value earlier. You got the full bar, there's the half note, which takes up half the bar. So this fill is going to start halfway through the bar, hence the half bar fill. It'll start on beat 3. So I'll be playing 1, 2, and ba da 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 da. So 3 E and a 4. 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 4. So with the beat and everything, it sounds like this. Okay, now let's try that fill to music. You can see at the end of the second tom, there's a little break before I come back into the crash with the bass drum. That's where your quarter note is. Ba-da-da-da-dum. So let's try that. Now on this next example of a half bar fill, going from 8ths to 16ths. Snare, snare, second tom, floor tom, floor tom. Goes like this. Now I'll play it with the beat. And as I'm doing with the beat, try to start to get the feel for it as you're watching. Just air drum with me and you can kind of get the feel of how your limbs are supposed to go. Okay, let's try it. So now you're kind of starting to get the feel for the half bar phrase. I use this thing over and over again. It's just a nice little tag on just before a new section. So again, if you're not that comfortable, just rewind it and just air drum it. Get the limbs going with me, and then we'll start putting it to music, and then you'll be able to feel after a while how the end of the phrase is coming. You won't necessarily have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then start the fill on 3. After a while, it's just going to be very innate with you. Just got to be patient, though. One step at a time. One bite at a time, right? Here we go. Here's with some music now. Now for my next example of a half bar phrase, it's going to go straight 16ths to 8ths. So we're going half as fast. Remember from note value? First tom, snare, snare, first tom, second tom, floor tom. So 16ths to 8ths, it's going to sound like this. So I'm still alternating on the 16ths, but the sticking is alternating. But what happens is that the left hand comes up to the first tom. So it goes right, left, left on the first tom, right on the second, left on the floor tom. Sticking is something that's very important. It will make it a lot easier or a lot harder if you do it incorrectly. So you want to find a flowing pattern, because if I try to put in some double rights in there, I might be able to do it, but it'll make it harder, and then the music feels more choked and doesn't have as much flow. So when I alternate that, just bringing that left hand up, it allows it to flow, makes it easier, makes it more musical. So let's try it now with the beat. So you can see now the 16ths and 8ths, we're getting a bit more musical, a bit more shape to the fill, a little bit more dynamics to it, getting the different stickings up and stuff like that. So just be conscious of that. Again, just try doing some air drumming with me just to get, even if you get your limbs kind of going in the same direction, it'll help a lot once you get right to the kit. Things will come smoother. So now let's try that with the musical example. So now you can see how it's starting to flow more, it's starting to become more part of the music. I'm more reacting to the music. The fill starts to have a dynamic shape that is similar to the music. Therefore, it becomes more supportive. And that's what our role is as drummers, is being supportive of the rest of the band. You want to make them feel as comfortable as they can be so that they will play the best that they can play. And then in turn, it's going to make everyone sound better, and it'll make you look better.